Okay, I think we're live. I don't know. I have been fighting with this for 12 minutes. Oh, what a pain in the butt. Let me know if you guys are seeing me, if you can hear me, if it looks like we're good. What a stupid OBS. So when I got the new computer months ago, I've not used this computer with OBS, so I had to reinstall it all, which I did. I had everything like ready to go hours ago. Like I was prepped. I go to everything's good. I plug in my my mic will not recognize, as it turns out, if my webcam is plugged in first, my mic won't work. I don't know why. That took me forever to figure out what was going on and mess with stuff. So I troubleshoot, I get that going. And then okay, we're ready to go, hit to stream. Error, it won't work. Now OBS is connected to my Google account, which I don't love. I don't like connecting other things because if something gets hacked, whatever. But yeah, what a freaking nightmare. I am not happy at all about the drama that just occurred. I don't know. I'm not loving the new OBS crap. But anyway, okay, so it's got things open. I don't even need open. Wait. I don't know. Hopefully I don't just lose the stream by closing that window. I don't know. Hey, Nick's here. I haven't seen you in a stream in a while. Okay. I think we're good. Maybe. I don't know. Let me remove and rearrange some stuff that I didn't think would be. Okay, let's open that in a new tab. We're going to pull you over here and put you here. Oh, would that work? What happens if I do that? Oh, that's not what I want to have happen. Oh, maybe it is. No, it's not. That is definitely not what I want to have happen. Okay, hold on. Let me change this again. You go into here, and then you... Not that. Not that. Not any of these things. What are you doing? Why are you being dumb? Okay, that. But not that. Because you've separated. Ugh, God. Now my Windows is... I've got too many windows. Crap. How do I separate these now? Hold on. I have to undock a bunch of... No swearing, Lisa. A bunch of stuff. Are you docked? Okay. I think it's separated. Hold on. I know this is dumb, and I want to try to get through all of these tonight, so I don't want to be messing with all of this crap. Seriously, the thing that's so annoying is I had this completely ready to go way early. Okay, that seems good. That gives me this. We got another critique. I've just had a couple of critiques come in. If I don't get to everybody, we'll do it again next week. So, like, everyone will get theirs done. Usually we end up doing this in twos, so that would be unusual. And I'm not going to listen to you whine, miss. We're usually on a walk at this time of night, and I don't think she's happy. Oh, she's looking out the window. She probably sees stuff. Okay, my God, here we go. I think we're good. My visit was great. Yes, my parents love Tila. They're hoping to come back out in when? September. God, I can't think. Okay. Let's go. Let's go ahead and save these images. This will start off slow. It'll take me a minute to get going with all of this. Let's see. Didn't have a file for this open? I guess not. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Save and save. Okay, so the first critique is actually from the last critique. It was submitted like a week or two after. Well, it was at least a week or so after the last submit, like we were done with that. So we'll just add this will be the first one for today. This is from Pamela. So we have, I don't even know if Pamela is still a member. I am not sure. Okay, let's pull these over. Because it's months and months have gone by. So I apologize if you're watching, Pamela. It took so long, and it's watercolor and metallic pens, and she said she wanted to add more color and contrast, I'm guessing, to hers versus the original. So the only problem I have, and this is one of the, yeah, my parents did want to take Tila home. She offered to trade for her Weimaraner many, many times. But I mean, she's kidding because my dad wouldn't let her, but she loved, because Tila's well trained. Anyway, so here, the thing that I have when it comes to the critiques, I'm always asking, now she did say that her thing was she was looking to add more color and contrast, so that's helpful. Watercolor metallic pens. Okay, I guess that works as the goal. But like my question here is, were you going for super realistic or more, because more colorful and contrast you can do while still remaining really realistic, or is this supposed to be more stylized? So when we come over, let me pull up OBS so I can actually see what is on screen. Oh, dang it. OBS, I don't want you docked with this. There we go. Okay. So if we look at the original versus the, see, if you're going for more like that kind of pop art feel, the like more stylized, it's awesome. Like, I don't really have much I can say if that is the goal, but if your goal was, everything got hit when I was setting this up, but if your goal is to go for more realistic, like this is where it's hard. I always need more information to know how to critique more. No, I'm not recording. These I don't actually have to record, so that's good. But thanks for reminding me just in case. But like looking at it in general, we're missing a tail. And that is something that, yes, in the reference photo, the tail is not showing. But when it comes to art, sometimes when you'll get a reference photo and there's something just positioned a little bit weird. And this is something that I often look for birds, especially a bird that has a tendency to hold. I mean, we do have a tail, but it doesn't look like a tail. It looks like a wing because of the colors and everything going on there. So we've got the tail, I believe, is here, but it's kind of missing over here. It doesn't look, I would probably reposition that and make it look more obvious to be a tail. So this is actually a great thing to bring up. When we get our reference photos, they are so, like, there are so many really, really cute photos. And this is a good photo. It's a clear photo. But I would probably reposition that tail because it looks like you missed something, even though you clearly did not. When we see the photo, we can see you did not miss anything. But it kind of, sometimes photos will appear that, okay, stop scratching my feet. I had another gluten thing. So my dermatitis herpetiformis thing is back and my feet are flared up, itching like, it's driving me crazy. Worst case scenario, I'll go stand in some cold water for a minute and come back. That's the only thing that makes it itching, but I'm caught myself scratching. I'm not allowed to scratch the feet. Anyway, so if you were here last time, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so that would be one thing I would adjust. I love, love, love the colors that you did. I would probably adjust like where you've got the green here. I probably would soften that out so it's not a square, because look at how it comes here right along the edge of that leg. It's following the shapes in a way that feels a little bit, it's not as fluid as it could be. I think this would be much stronger if we took that green and had it like kind of flow up more, or just leave it out altogether. I do like that there's green. I think there being green in there is a good call. I would just not do like this perfect square that we've got there, because usually when I'm doing something that's like an out of focus background, I want to avoid anything that's super like those straight lines. So I'd probably avoid that. I really do like that stylized feel, adding more color. I think it looks great. But that's why I'm like, I don't know if it's supposed to be stylized or if you're going for realism. It's hard for me to judge, because if you're going for stylized, you nailed it. But if you're trying to get realism, you didn't. I mean, it's good, but it's not what that goal is. If that was I don't know. That's why I always need to know everyone's goals. But I think that you made for a great piece. It's super cute. I like a lot about this. Watch when you do bird feet. Actually, you did good here because the toes are crossing over each other, it looks like. I like that yours are not. But do watch, like, these toes are super long. If we're going to go for stylized, I'd probably shorten those a little bit. Separate the nail from make sure the nail is separate from the toe. That's probably why they look so long, because it looks like all one piece, which in your reference photo looks that way too, but knowing birds, that's just not what it is. And so if you make the nail a part of the toe, it just makes it all look like it's too long, which is not the case, but it's just because it's missing. Like if you just separated the toenail, it would make the toes not look quite so pointy. It's great. I would do more shading for sure. I would pull, I mean, if we look at the bird here, look at the shading on the bottom half. I would pull shading on yours too, especially given that you went with the super dark wings. I would add some shading in the green. You've got a little bit, but I would push that a little bit farther. But it's really fun, really cute. And again, if you're going for stylized, you nailed it. I think you did a really good job creating a very stylized, very complete, very pretty, very aesthetically pleasing. So the things that I'm picking apart are me looking for things to pick apart. But if like I saw this on the wall or somebody's like, here, hang this on your wall, I'd be like, yes, absolutely, I would do that. And I'm pretty picky about what I hang on my wall. So I don't want to make it feel like you did a bad job. Because I don't know if it was supposed to be more stylistic or realistic. So that makes it hard for me to judge where we're going. So those are my tips on that. I would also say on the wing, like when I look away and look back, the wing is so dark and the legs are really dark. So there's some balance there. Something else, I would probably darken up even a little bit more on areas of the bird. I'd play around with that, but really cute. I'm going to guess that you probably did want stylized. Okay. Next we have from Audrey. No, not copy image, save image. Hit the right buttons. Okay, what does this say? I painted this picture from a photo I found on Pixabay. The photo says it's an AI image. First off, what is your opinion on using reference as AI? I tried doing it just like the photo, but it seems every time I paint, my eye sees something different as far as colors, lights, darks, etc. They say paint what you see, but I guess I see things differently. This is an oil and 18 by 24 on canvas. Okay. For those of you with mosquito bites, being that you're talking about that, hold on. I am going to link you. It will be an affiliate link because that's what I do. The best thing, everyone needs to know about this. Tila, stop. Hey, stop. Let's see if I have the one that I ordered. If I can't find the exact one I ordered, I won't recommend them because these are really hit or miss on how good or bad they are because there are some really bad ones. But oh my gosh, that looks like a version of mine. Okay, let me actually look at my own account. Hold on. It'll be worth it. I promise. I know I'm supposed to be working here, but you guys are talking about the mosquito stuff, and this is kind of a big deal. And I wish I had known about these years ago. And they're so amazing. I mean, they don't stop the mosquito bites, but they make them go away. Like when you have it, you burn. It's like a burn. Please be in stock still. Yes. Okay, they have new versions. Huh. This is a newer version of mine. So that's, just be aware. This is not the exact one. It's the same like listed, but it's a newer one. So I don't want this one. Let me copy the affiliate link, and I am going to link this to you guys in the chat. That thing is amazing. It just causes heat, and you put it on the burn, and it just does, or not the burn, the bite. It dissolves it. It like breaks it up. You're not itching after that. You might have to do it in a second time, but that's like it. It's the most amazing. Like everybody needs to know about that thing. So yeah, and I am the itchy expert between the mosquito bites and the dermatitis herpetiformis. Okay, focus, Lisa. What are we doing? Okay. So here is the AI version. Here is the painting version. I don't know if you saw my jaw kind of drop when I looked at this. It was one of those, holy crap, that's awesome. That was that face. So let's talk first about using AI. AI, well, can we all see the issue with the AI? Like number one first issue with AI as reference, which you thank God fixed, but it really shows, oops, that didn't do what I needed it to do. Oh, it's not showing you. Holy crap. Sorry. I don't think it's doing what I need it to do. Oh, it is. Okay. I've got the wrong thing open. So if we look at the AI version, Tila, stop scratching. She's like, I got a mosquito bite. You didn't use the Bernie thing on me. Let me make that way bigger. Do we see the problem with the AI version? And this is so freaking typical of AI. Now, one, I'm pretty sure that this little mound doesn't make sense where it is based on the way the background is, but it's still pretty. So, okay, fine. I'll let that go. Yeah, that horse has 5 legs. I mean, I have a 5-toed demon, so we get some weird things, but I don't think the horse is supposed to be a demon like Tila is. Who's eating the leash again? Stop it. That is one of the problems with using AI as reference. It's okay if wow, thanks, Nick. I actually have treats next to me too. Oh, yeah. Well, let me go through this and we'll give treats. So if they're allowed when the doggies need a treat, yes, they do. And I will bring them over for that in just a second. I'll move the camera so you can see Tila too. But anyway, the problem with AI, I don't mind when artists use it for inspiration, but don't use it for a reference because it's wrong. And it will teach you to accept things that are wrong all the time. It kind of goes back to the thing that I've talked about before, where if you continuously draw the same thing, like there was an artist, I'll use him as an example for a Fort Worth art show, and he was doing wildlife like lions and stuff. And you'd look at it and you're like, his painting techniques, his brush strokes were pretty good. His values were pretty good. His proportions were, I mean, that's where the problem was. His drawings were off, just that little bit off, just enough that it made you kind of uncomfortable. You're like, huh, what? And that is kind of what AI has turned into. When you get used to seeing something as wrong, like that artist was so used to drawing things a little bit off, to him, he saw it as correct. He trained his brain that wrong was correct. And this is the problem for any time where anyone is going to be using 5 legs means speedy horse, or that 5th leg's getting in the way. I mean, it could go that if I had an extra leg, I'd be tripping over it. But anyway, I can't walk on the 2 I have. To submit for critique, if you're on Patreon, the instructions are over on the most recent Patreon post. So this is a members. I'm doing the members, but it's public, so everyone can learn from it. And yay! So anyway, for critique, as far as like with the horse, that is not correct. His front end is too far forward. His head and neck are not where they should be. He's deformed. Even if it weren't for that 5th leg, and no, I'm not looking at ears. I haven't even really studied ears. That horse is deformed. If growing up when I was a kid, because I was drawing, and getting them wrong, she would regularly tell me I wouldn't ride a horse that looked like that. It's to this day, we still joke. We're like almost 50 years old and we still joke about this, that was like, she used to give me so much crap for my drawings being inaccurate, and she wouldn't ride a horse like that. I wouldn't want to ride that horse. That is not a sound horse. So, and again, I'm not looking at yours. Right now I'm looking at just the AI and the problems. This is the problem with AI. For inspiration, even for lighting, I'm kind of okay with the way the lighting is hit, but I would go find a horse in that position, like go find an actual horse to make sure the anatomy is correct. AI can't draw hands, you're right. They can't do, legs. They don't know. They'll put legs coming out of the butt of things. Like, it is wild what AI likes to do. So like the clouds, the sky, that is all super pretty. The landscape in the background, Tila, stop it. I think she sees someone outside. All of that's super pretty, but it's also inaccurate. So as using it for reference photo, I know that a lot of artists have an issue with AI evil, AI bad. I'm semi-okay with it. AI is here. I'm good with that. But when we're trying to go for things that are accurate, I don't think that we should be using AI as the reference. If someone submitted something with a duck, and it was the cutest thing, a duck and flowers, but it was inaccurate. And so when you copy it, now your work is inaccurate, and we've got like wrong teaching people to do things wrong, if that makes sense. Make sure to get a real photo. So use the AI. I'm okay with using it for inspiration to get an idea of the lighting, all of that. And especially like landscapes, you're a little bit more free, except it does sometimes mess up the perspective, but usually landscapey things are decent. But when it gets into anatomy of animals and people, Lord, is it off. So that's where you really want to be careful. I've used it for coming up with like interesting kind of floral backgrounds for stuff. I think I did that on French fries. I don't know, you can see it. I've got a painting I did with French fry. I think I used that for the background of that one, like to come up with ideas. So I think that there's a place to use AI in your art. I don't think it's great for trying to get things to be accurate. So that's my opinion on using AI as reference and things that you just need to watch out for. Where do I go to get the pieces hanging in your home framed? I frame them myself. Okay, so we've covered what my opinion of AI art. It's or using AI as reference. I think it holds its place. Yours I like better. But see, like even here, like the lump of green doesn't totally fit, and you can't copy this one, but theirs wasn't quite right. That was one of the things that I looked at, went, that lump is weird. So when you do the lump and your lump is a little bit different, now it's even more weird, if that makes sense. So as a whole, like my first impression of this painting was jaw drop, like, wow, this looks amazing. Your contrast, your values. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I love it. Tila, no one wants to listen to you whine. No one wants to listen to me correct you for whining either. I love what you've done there. Now the clouds, are there stars in your clouds? Because if you're doing that, you want to lean into it being more surreal, because there would not be stars in clouds. What am I seeing? That could be glare. That might be glare on the canvas. What am I seeing there? I'm not sure. I love your sunset and the just the contrast there. I really do like. But if we're going to go for more like the photo, and this is one thing I love about the photo, the clouds. AI is really good with clouds and lighting with stuff like that. So that's something you may want to copy a little bit more accurate, because clouds, it's not something where you're like, oh, a cloud wouldn't look like that. It's a cloud. Clouds look like everything. So in that case, if you like their clouds, I would go ahead and pull more of those oranges into, throw my pen, into this area in here. Let that get these more orange and red tones, these brown tones. So if you mix your gray with your orange, you're going to get the brown tone. Those two colors, when they mush together, that's just what you're going to get. So I would go ahead and pull more of those into it. So you've got a little bit of a softer transition before it fades out into the darker grays. I love here. You did a phenomenal job here. And actually your horse, as I look at it, your horse is more correct than the reference photo. The reference photo is off. I would put more of a highlight on his butt. Tila, shut up. But your legs don't look as off, and your neck looks a little bit longer to me. Let's see. Marie said the front left shoulder and back hip are also funky in the AI. Exactly. Lightly, you missed me being late. That was it. Yeah, we're only on the second one. It was I was having a nightmare here going on. Now, some of the things I love. I want this area, the ground. Holy crap, that looks amazing. I like yours better than the AI. I love the softness to it. It just fits with the whole piece there. Your bushes here, I think that looks great. There's so much to love about this. You should be so proud of yourself. But yeah, that's something here. That green thing is just a little bit weird to me, but so is theirs. I probably wouldn't go that green. But at the same time, there's something about it I like more in an abstract sense than like a realistic sense. But I don't know, it's kind of pretty. Is it super realistic with everything else? No. But there's something about it I just like. And that's the thing with art. So I might sit here, for any of you guys, I might sit here and pick apart something over and over and over. And you're going, oh my God, you don't like it. It is so subjective, because I'm looking at this going, that green in the middle, not accurate. I don't know why I like it. I just do. We like what we like. So whenever you paint something, and if one person doesn't like it, don't let that discourage you, because you only need one person to buy it. You only need one person to really like it. Not everything has to be everyone's favorite. And sometimes we look at art and we just like what we like, and it makes no sense. Like I'm saying, that green doesn't make sense, but the green, I think the reason that I like that green is that it is, I'm guessing that you use the same blues that you used in the purple tones and the same yellows, and that green just works well with this color palette. It is a very, that's what it is. It's the color palette that I like so much. I like the inclusion of that green. Now, if you wanted to go more realistic, because you had said that you were trying, let me read again what you said so I'm not putting words in your mouth. I tried doing it just like the photo, but it seems every time I paint, I see something different as far as colors. Okay, so when you want the colors to be more accurate, one of the easiest things you can do is use, Photoshop, but any photo editing app. I'm going to pull up a square so you can really see. This has been like one of the big, even now, I mean, there will be times I'm looking at something going, I'm not positive what that color is. It looks kind of blue to me, and I'll touch it to it. It's a purple gray. Like I'm so far off from what I thought it looked like, because when a color is right next to another color, it can be deceiving as to what the color actually is. The color next to it leads you to think it's more blue, and in fact, it was a gray purple or you know, something like that. So what I like to do when I'm trying to make something look closer is use some kind of like an eyedropper tool. Let me pull this guy over here and we can go through. So obviously in your case, you went really green. Now, like I said, that green, I don't know, there's something about it I like. Is it accurate? Does it look realistic? No, not at all. Is it pretty? Absolutely. I don't know why I like it. I just do. But when we look at the actual color, you're reading it, and I think this is what happens. You're looking at that going in the distance, that would be green. Your brain is telling you it would be green, but that's not what your eyes are seeing. Look at the difference here. No, there's no green anywhere. This is all shades of brown, all of it. Not a single, I mean, I'm touching all over the place. Nothing is, it's not even greenish brown. I mean, it is like brown and orange. There's no green there. So that's what's happening. And if you can, one of the things is to get your brain to really grasp, to start seeing what your eyes see versus your brain going, there's plants and grass back there, so it's green. So that is, the color picker thing is so helpful. And I mean, even if we look at the tree up front, there's almost no, it's like a baby poop green, but there's not green. Oh, that's kind of green, kind of grayish green. So that is going to be the most helpful thing. And the same thing here, like we look at the clouds. So you said you were trying to get it more exact. Look how orange that should be versus purple gray. We fade out into purple gray, but we want this transition into this rusty orange color first before we start heading into that purple gray. We've got a gradient going on there. So I think that would make for a stronger piece. And again, like I said, AI, that is one thing I have no problem with you copying exactly, is the skies, because it nails it. If you like the sky that it gives you, go for it, because it's a sky. They change, they can look any which way. There's not anything weird there in most cases, so you're pretty safe. But my favorite parts on this back mountain thing and the way that you've got the light, you nailed that. Is so good. Anyway, okay, I think that's good. We're gonna leave you down there because we're gonna need that later. Yeah, the AI thing is very, and people get really offended and they will kick people out of the groups if they find out they used AI. People are so anti-AI. I'm not an extremist on most things, so I definitely have a more use it when it's useful, because it's here, it's not going away, but be careful of when you do use it. Also, let's see if I can get the peppers. I don't know if I'll be able to get them to where you can see. We'll do the super chat from Nick. What is going on here? Let me see. There they are. I'm going to angle this down, and we've got some treats here. Tila, come. Come. She's like, what? You never call me in there. Come. She's like, I'm not supposed to get off my bed. I was told to place. She's trying to be good. She's behind my drink there. Wade gets his. Tila, come. Come. Yes. Good girl. Oh, got to grab it. There she is. Good girl. Say thank you, Nick. That was very tasty. I'm not used to being called into the office. It makes me happy. Okay, now I've got to put her back. Come on. Come on. Cow. Tila, place. Yes. Place down. Cow, you're not staying in here. Come on. You come back to your bed too. Cow, down. Say thank you, Nick. Down. Down. Tila. Hey. Way down. Stay. Okay. Oh, let's get this back over here. Oh, you are shrinking. How did I have this before? I don't even know. It was on this one though. It was the other. There, this is the one I'm trying to go for. Too much. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Let's see. Nick said, my stupid brain relies on the color picker more than I care to admit. I do it all the time. I mean, why not use it? When you realize there's a tool that's I mean, it would be like me going, I've got a lawnmower, but if I was really elite, I would use scissors to cut my lawn. Like, that makes no sense. Use the tools available to you. And if the color picker works for you, I use it all the time too. Like all the time. If I'm even remotely not sure, I use it. There's nothing wrong with that. That's for sure. PZ Cherokee said, the part that concerns me is the water usage. Yeah, now when it comes to AI in the data centers, that's a whole other argument that's certainly an issue. So I get you on that. Yeah, let's see. Tasha Bean said, I love the color tool. No shame. Yeah, there's nothing. It's a helpful tool. Marie said, I'm constantly amazed at how what my eye says is a creamy white is actually rather dark gray or tan. Yep, exactly. PC Cherokee said, I haven't met the new brown dog yet. That is Tila. She is a 5-month-old Rhodesian Ridgeback. Well, Rhodesian Cowlick, because she's got a kind of a messed up ridge. Okay. Yeah, Gibson we lost in December, and I'm not going to go into it or I'll start crying again. So, yeah. Not like lost. I mean, I know where he was. Okay. Here we go. I made a video about it, like what happened in 2025. If you look that up, I talk about all that stuff. Okay. Next, we have, oh, wow. You guys are, like, everyone tonight is just amazing. I'm excited to show you guys this one, too. Ooh. Okay. Let me pull these over. It says they're low res. Hopefully they're not too small. Oh, they're not. They're fine. Oh my gosh, the artwork's better than the painting. Okay, let me shrink this down a bit so I can move them side by side. And I'll tell you who this is and what they said. Love it. Tila, you better not be getting out of that bed. She's rolling around on her back and paws in the air and being goofy. Okay. So this is from, where did my mouse go? There it is. This is Marie. I can't say your name. I apologize. I can't read. Says, hi, Lisa. Although I'm quite pleased with this acrylic painting, as you should be, I feel it can be improved a bit. I am quite happy with the humpback calf, but the mother whale looks flat to me, and I do not like the sun rays much either. Can you help? Background info. As a marine mammal biologist, I was working off Congo with humpback whales, and I saw the mother push the babies up to the surface. I was not able to swim with the whales, I never do, so I see them from above the surface only. This photo reference is not my own, but the whole experience and the photo inspired me to paint this lovely scene. One of the cows I saw very late in the season was only just born and still so tiny it could only swim in circles. I hope she made it through the migration down to the South Antarctica. Okay. Marie, Marijke. And I apologize again, can't pronounce it, but I want to make sure you're getting credit because, yeah, Nick said, bravo, unpronounceable artist. Well, unpronounceable to me. Okay, so let's take a look. I see what you mean by the mother being flat. Here's the cool thing. It's great. God, there's so much good about this. There's so much good. It needs very, very, very little tweaking that I would do. So let me actually be smart and add a second layer that I will promptly screw up and erase because that is my thing. This used to be the undo. Nope. Yeah, what is that button? I changed it, and so now I don't have my brushes that work as easily as they should. I screwed something up on this and I need to fix it, but whatever. This is what we've got for now. Wait, are you working? There we go. That one works. Opacity. Let me drop this down. Okay. So whenever I paint something in the water, I want to make sure it looks like it's in the water. So this guy has so much of the gray. We need to pull more of those blues. You've got some of the blues in here, but we need to pull even more. So what I'm going to do is start by color matching the same color as the water. And I'm going to drop the opacity way down. We're going to start by getting some of this water on here. You're not going to see a lot, and that's probably too opaque too. Let's drop that by a bunch more. Hey, don't eat that. She thinks that's her other name. Or what's in your mouth. And I'm going to soften this outer edge a lot more so it really fades into that background. I'm going to pull that blue up. Look how I'm pushing her into the water now. think I need to switch my, I see I darkened here, and actually I need to, let's correct the brush I've got for my eraser while I'm at it. Soften that a bit. Okay, that worked better. I'm going to push all that back and see how she's now she seems farther in the water. We're going to do the same thing for the baby. Now, one of the things for the baby, I want to see a little bit more contrast between the baby and the shadow under the mom to separate those two. So I'm also going to pull this down. I'm going to bump up my opacity quite a bit. I want to create more definition right in here. I don't need that much opacity. I'm going a little crazy on that. There we go. Now, your details are like, you nailed that with the details. There's really nothing I need to change on details. What I'm doing is just making sure that they feel like they're in the water. I'm going to do the same thing with the baby. The shadow needs to be more of the blue. We've got that there. See how she just starts feeling like she's in the water now. Because if you were in the water, you're not going to see that level of gray. You've got it's like curtains of water in front of you. So we want to put that in front, and that helps push her back and help her to feel like she's not so flat. And then you had also said, what was the other thing about rays of light? The sun. You didn't like the sun rays much either. Those aren't bad. Sun rays. So the way that I do those is normally with an airbrush. And so I get a much softer look. If your canvas is super, super smooth, yes, it is. Oh, wait, did she say it was acrylic? I think she's, yes, it is acrylics. If it's super smooth, what I end up doing is you can do a little bit of dry brushing, but it has to be really smooth for that to work. We can soften that a bit. So see how it's just a little bit softer as they come down. If you're like me, I like the fuzzy edges. I've seen a lot of people do rays of light where they take tape and make it super, super smooth, like hard edges between the rays of light. And that can work too. That's a look. I personally like a much softer look. And so the way that I would achieve that in acrylics, if I'm doing something that I want it to be my best of the best, I use the airbrush. If I don't have the airbrush though, or if I'm doing a lesson where I'm teaching people how to do something like this without, I make the line with paint, and then I take a second brush that's just slightly damp with water and just smudge those edges out. Well, the blue paint is dry, but I'll just kind of smudge those out just a little bit. So that'll give me that softer look there. But no, this is beautiful. And that's really all I think I would do is just look at the difference when you put that blue over her, where she feels like she's in the water. And this is just glazes. You don't have to undo anything. You're not losing your detail. It's a glaze. Water and blue paint, no white. Do not use white with a glaze because it ends up being foggy. So just glaze the same blue. It has to be the same blue you used in the background. If you used blue and black, then mix a little black with that too, because it does look like there's black in some of this. But no, this is just a little bit more with the shading and absolutely beautiful. So yeah, you should be proud of yourself. No. Okay, next. Ow. Someone asked that I move the art down a bit. Yeah. How was it? Hold on. I'll have to. Did I screw up my? Okay, we'll see what I pull the next batch up. I'll double check where it's positioned. Please. Oh, she's chewing on her own foot now. Okay, next is Brenda. Let me save this. Let's see, was there a reference photo? I don't see a reference. Okay. So let's pull this up and I will read what it says. And let me actually first check, where was the art? You wanted the art down farther. What do you mean the art down farther? I don't know what they mean by move the art down a bit. Like the whole screen is on the screen, so I'm not sure why that would be. I don't think I'm reading that right. So with the sun rays, soften them and bring them a bit beyond the mom. Yeah, I pull them. And with the sun rays, I'll do a mixture. So some are a lot longer than others, long and short. So I get a mixture in that. And that's just how I do rays of light. But yeah, I soften the edges. And again, that's going to be personal because I've seen it done where it's super harsh edge like that. And that's definitely a choice that looks okay too. I just like the softer look myself. It just has a more natural fit. Oh, my picture was covering the art. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, my picture doesn't need to be there at all. Okay, I'll watch for that closer. Okay, so this is from Brenda, and she said, I'm new to your group and saw this critique opportunity. I would love advice to help me improve this painting. I want the background to be loose and a little moody, but I feel like the picture doesn't have a focal point. Everything is all the same intensity. I don't know, and that is a common problem. You are not the only one, I promise you. I don't know if I've highlighted or shadowed too much or not enough. I would love to have your opinion on whether it needs a focal point or what I can do to make this spark and pop without adding a ton of detail. Thanks. See, we don't have a reference photo, which is not helpful. So there's a few things here. This tree is so horribly distracting. He needs to go all the way. So let's put a let's do a few little bit of a painting session. Actually, so we've got it. Let's talk about the rule of thirds. One of the problems, and this is a pretty painting. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, I don't want you to feel like it's not a pretty painting, but I'm going to go all nitpicky here on you. The rule of thirds is a really good way to start. This painting is not sort of the tree is, but not in the way that you want it to be. Let me see if I've got I just have to find where I saved it. Apparently not there. Let's do this. Yep, here it is. Okay, so this is the rule of thirds. And what this is a way, if you're not sure about the composition of something or you want to double check if it's going to be visually appealing, use the rule of thirds. So what we have are these dots. And this would be the same no matter, if you're going to go with portrait or landscape, just flip it or stretch it so it fits whatever canvas size. But we want these I call them the hot spots where the lines cross. So we've got 3 sections on the top, 3 going horizontally. And those points where they intersect, one of those should be your center of attention, ideally. And we can also kind of break up, especially in landscapes and such. We try to do things in thirds. I mean, heck, even in home, like decor design things, we do things in thirds. Like if you do an accent wall where it's only part of the way up, or like with mine, the one room, it's thirds. Everything's in thirds, going visually. So that is something that we want to keep in mind. So let's now take the opacity down on this and see where we hit. Nothing is really within the rule of thirds here. So what could we do instead? Well, I'm going to duplicate that layer. Let's make a few minor adjustments that I think would help. See, I dropped the water line right down, so that is now the bottom third. The sky is almost the whole upper third there, the majority of it, and then this is that just pulls the landscape into a much more visually appealing area. Now, to adjust for that, let me make I'm going to erase a couple of things here. Let me pull you out real quick. And I'm also going to just do a couple of quick things to hide. And do I have the opacity? Apparently not. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is get rid of this. That tree doesn't need to be there at all. It's not adding anything. It's a bit distracting. Okay, right there, this just instantly became a more visually appealing piece. Those few little changes. Let me show you. It just now fits. You're more within the rule of thirds. I understand you don't want to do a lot of detail. You're going for the moody. So that would be my first thing is use the rule of thirds to just help your composition a little bit. Now, does everything need to follow the rule of thirds? No. But if you hit a place and you're like, there's just something not right, check it with the rule of thirds. That alone can fix it. So what were my thirds? I separated the mountain, for the most part, the mountain and the water. All of those now fall thirds. So that is a huge, huge help in making the composition stronger. Let's see. What about adding something on the water in the lower left third, maybe a small boat or bird? I wouldn't. I don't think it needs it. I don't like the tree. I would like to see, I'm trying to think how, I feel like the tree is just, I like the tree a lot better now, but it's just a little bit too straight. It doesn't have much flow to it. I need a reference photo. It makes it easier to kind of tell where I want, like, yeah, I really would like to have more of a reference there. Maybe branches, maybe, I don't know. Hold on. Let me pull something up. Let me see what I can find on Unsplash real quick, just to give us some ideas. Let's see. I think the shadow on the hill is working on the left to balance. Yeah, I like the hill. I like the mountains in the background. I really wouldn't change anything. I would, besides the positioning there. I do like that. Let me see. I feel like the tree is just overwhelming it. The location of it is a little bit like, it's too straight. I think that's part of my problem. It's too straight down. I mean, yeah, it does get a little bit wider at the bottom, but not enough. It's just a little bit like, I feel like the center of the tree is on the edge. It should be in more. I don't like if he was just scooched in a bit. So the center is so right on the edge. It just makes that whole area just go straight down. And so it doesn't have a good flow because of it. I'm looking to see. Tila, stop. Now, exceptions for me on that would be, is this a lake you go to all the time and that this is your view? This is what you see. Then I'm going to give it a little bit more like leniency to be something that I don't love. Let's see. Tasha said it needs to be landscape orientated instead of portrait. Not necessarily. Maybe that would make a difference, but not necessarily. It might. I mean, I like landscapes that are in portrait too. Landscapes don't have to be in portrait, so I wouldn't say that that's really the must-have thing there. I'm trying to look for something. This is probably just going to take too long for me to find. I swear that has been my life lately, is trying to find trees. That look nicely balanced. Maybe if the tree was a little smaller, that could do it. The tree being a little smaller certainly could be that. Something else in the foreground altogether could be an answer. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things we could certainly. Here, let's do this. I'm going to take this photo. I'm just going to do something really quick here. Oh, heck, stop it. Oh, why are you doing that? Let's do it this way because you want to be moody about it and not click the way I want. I don't feel like dealing with that, so that does not look like it's going to erase fine. Okay. If we got rid of this, so let me get rid of both these for a second here. Don't mind me. I just need to do that so that it's easier to do this. I don't need to push it all the way in, just enough to give me some space so it's not sticking out. We're just going to do a little experimenting here. Tila, where are you going? Place. 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 Absolutely not. Get up there. Place. She's crawling away. Okay. My bigger issue, because you're like Lily mentioned, lightening the clouds. Certainly, I think more contrast in the clouds. Like we could get into that for sure. My biggest issue is that the composition is just not working. So, like that's the thing that, like when I first look at it, it's the composition that is making me go, something's missing. Do not crawl away, miss. So we're gonna pull these down here. I'm just kind of playing around with different ideas. I don't know. I'm not saying that this is the right thing to do. I'm just like, you know, if we can kind of play with different things and see if it gives us a better, like if you wanted trees there, is there a better option to make this? I'm going to pull the rule of thirds back in. And let's see if we can make that feel a little bit nicer. I do like it better having the ground in there. Maybe something in the foreground a little bit. Do not chew on that bed. I don't know. And I'm not saying that's the answer. It just makes me wonder if that's a better composition to that, if that makes sense. If we could see a little bit, maybe something extra. I don't know. I'm not sure what the answer is. But this, to me, the composition is the biggest thing that is making me, how am I erasing them? I'm using an eraser tool for the trees. And then for erasing the original tree from the painting, I'm using a clone stamping thing. Let's see, what if instead of removing the tree on the left, it's bushed up to make it more substantial, or maybe craggly, like a tree that's struggling with an interesting scraggy shape. I mean, there's a lot of issues. So let's talk about why this tree is an issue. I love this piece because it has so many things composition-wise that we can cover. So this tree, see how it just meets right here at the top? That is always going to be a bad composition. This needs to either go above it or be way below it. Like where you don't want to have it just barely meeting the top. We also don't want it have it so close to the edge. If it needs to be there, pull it out. It needs stuff coming out into it. More like this tree is. So this tree isn't just on the edge and it goes up above. So this one actually, that tree is not suffering from that part. So that's why I think this tree just needs to go. I think rocks would be really pretty there. Or maybe even this tree being, you know, something a little bit more where you've got the ground and maybe have some rocks and such in front of it too. You know, having more of a rocky outcropping coming through here, like brownish rocks, or so I don't know, you could play with the idea there. But something like this with those trees, I like better than going all the way off. I mean, even if we do that with these, you'll be able to see where it's like, it just doesn't, when it gets too big, it's just a glob. It's not, it doesn't really fit. Don't eat the bed. It doesn't, it's not adding much. So yeah, I don't like it going, in this case, I would not make these trees go, bigger than the mountain, so they go up above it, but I would not make them go all the way off the paper. Again, the exception for me would be, is this a place that you sit, you have coffee, you go to this location, and this is what you see? then I'm going to paint it more like in that case. So there's going to be exceptions to everything. But yeah, those are some of the things that I would change. The rule of thirds really would be a big thing to start keeping in mind, or, you know, taking in place. And I'm not saying you need to put all those details in the tree. I do like that contrast with how dark the darks are. Let's actually talk about that for the tree. Get those darks in there and then get the highlights on top. Right now, the tree is too evenly gray. Like, you've got details. You've got light gray green, you've got dark green, you've got the mid green, which I always say you want to have at least 3, and you've got blue, so that's good. Your darks need to go way darker, though. I would definitely go darker on some of those darks in the tree in the foreground. Maybe not anything back here, but I would darken a lot more here. So yeah, those are the things, just quick things that I would change on that. But you're off to a great start. I like your mountain. I love the way that you've done your water. I would just, looking for, and I wouldn't go and change this one. I would just look for things, moving forward, consider lining things up more with the rule of thirds. I mean, you can really see here, the way the water lines up, the way the mountain lines up, the sky's the top third. That's going to make for a much more visually appealing composition. But I would just do that a new one. I wouldn't start over on this because you're trying to cover trees in the water and then blend the water. I would just leave this one as it is, call it done, start another one using what you've learned here. Okay. Next, we have, oh yeah, we're definitely like gonna do another one next week. Oh, these saved weird. Why is my email reading these so weird? Yeah, the color palette was really pretty. I really like the color palette too. Like, it's just, the water and mountains especially, I like the way those are blended. I like so much about that piece. Okay. Tila. She's rolling around on her back trying to bite the leash. She spends most of her time on her back. Okay. This is from Karen, who said, this is a piece of paddle I donated for a fundraiser auction. I continually, God, continually. Is that, or is it continuously? Isn't it continuously? Continuously. Now I've said it too many times and my brain is broken. I'm avoiding finishing it because I don't like it. Okay. So we've got, let's pull these up and take a look. So I think we've got some more AI stuff for references. Ooh, it looks finished to me. Okay. Wait. Which one's it? What are we looking at? So unfortunately, oh wait, no, image 2. It does say image. It loaded weird on the email, is reading this weird. So we've got reference photo is number 1. So that is reference photo 1. Image, reference photo 2 is AI generated. I think that's this. Wait. These aren't in order. I can't tell which is which. Image 3, photo number 3 is my painting. Okay, image 0 is the reference photo 1. I think I can okay, that's reference photo 1. Reference photo 2 also says image 0. It's listed. I don't know why my email is not reading this right. Photo number 3, my painting, is image 2. Okay, so that one is image 2, which makes sense because there's a house, home stuff. So I think this one here is AI. I'm not even positive. So I would just say the same thing as everything else. Or I've been saying, just like what you did, get a real photo to use for your reference. Watch, because AI tends to be wrong, but use that as it. This to me then looks like, so we've got AI. I believe this is AI. I think this is the actual reference image. I think. Yeah, because that wouldn't be an actual reference, right? Unless you're copying another paddle. No. Okay. Anyway, so what did you actually say? Because now I'm confused on which image is which. Let's see. This piece of paddle I've donated to a fundraiser. I'm continuously avoiding. Okay, it is continuously, right? Right? Wait, I'm confused. because I don't like it. Tila, stop eating the leash. I don't want to replace that. Stop it. Don't make me go spray bitter apple all over that again. Okay. Karen, dog, stop it. Matt should be out here soon. I'm going to make him take you and give you your pup cups. Okay. So let's see. I like on the AI version that the back was darker blue. I would do that. I would pull brighter. I would probably, okay, actually, let's get some shadows and stuff. Okay, you're here. Yes, number 1, my painting. Number 2 is reference in the order that I have it. And then I'm going to add, I'm not on the right one. Add another layer to actually draw on because I would not do a whole lot. I want to get some darks in there. And I want to, where's my pen? Tila, stop it. Is my face in front of this? Hold on. It is. Oh, but it's not in anything important. I mean, it's the background, but I'm still going to scooch these. Okay. But I do want to enlarge this anyway. Hold on. We need bitter apple all over the leash because she's chewing all over it. So I sprayed the bitter apple close to her, but that's not the part, or she's figured out, just don't chew on that. Okay, this is going to give you rope burn. I don't want to do that. Why are you so tangled up? Oh my God, dog. Tila, stop. Stop. Actually, I don't even think you need the leash. I'm not even going to put that on you. Let's see how you do without it. Okay. Sorry for the distraction. The joy of puppyhood. Okay. So the only problem is if she wanders off, I can't feel it on the leash because she's not attached to me anymore. No one tell her. Okay, let's shrink this on down. I want to start just going through the feathers you already have. I'm not inventing new spots. I'm just going with what you have. We're going to darken these up. I'm going to go a little bit less opaque. And I do like this about the AI. So this is where I like AI for, water usage. No, counting. I do like it for inspiration, just not, to copy everything exactly. We can kind of, and I love how you found another photo that's the real, a real photo. So here we've got some of these bigger feathers, so I'll try to keep that in. Tila, do not climb off that. She thinks if she crawls, but she's still laying down, that it counts. Usually I'm laughing too hard to correct her. So I'm teaching her bad habits. Okay, we're going to get some of these darks in there. Oops. And then when it comes to the water, I'm going to scooch all you guys back over a little bit more. Grab it. Grab it. Stop. Okay, when it comes to this, I'm going to do the same thing. I want to make some of these a lot darker. Let's bump that opacity. Let's push the contrast a bit. This is so well done. You do not need much, but I would pull some of these darks, like just the spots that you already have in there. Just make a few of them a little bit darker. And then in here, this is like a purpley brownish color, really just brown. I'll pull a little bit more with the darks again. And I would probably pull a little bit more. Oh, no, not that much. Let's push that back. A little bit more with the highlights, though. Not too much. Not that that's what is on the reference. It's just that I like that with water. When you can get that really high contrast, it just makes it look so shiny. I like the water in the background. I wouldn't change that. Now, the one thing I would, maybe change. Hold on. I'll let you know in a second. Let me put a few of these. So not a whole lot. Let's still come back through. Let's get a little bit more with the darks in here. Okay, let me shrink that back down. It doesn't, I don't think it needs a lot. And I would probably pull a few more of the darks at the base in the grasses, a little bit more. But I mean, just adding a little bit more dark so that it's not so flat looking is a big deal. Now, this in the background, I don't know if it's because of how the paddle is positioned. I can't see the bottom. If the paddle is positioned in a way that this is lopsided because of that, then leave it. But if it is not, you need to straighten that line out. You do not want that to be lopsided. That's a huge issue when it comes to landscapes. When you've got the water line like that, you don't want a hill like that because the water needs to be flat all the time. Definitely fix that up. I'll show you. Just pull that color back up. Make sure that it's equal on both sides. Do not have that at a lopside. You better not be escaping. She's on her back with her paws in the air again. She's so bored. She's like, we're supposed to be on a walk. We didn't get our walk. We've been walking all week. You want to make sure that that water line is not at an angle. Push that up. Now, I'm okay with, see your ripples here? They are at a slight angle. That's okay. That back water line or whatever's going on, is that even a water line? Is it marshy grass? Whatever it is, keep it horizontal. It will make a big difference. Let's see. I just saw your video about your crazy year, good year in Aries, because that warrior spirit comes in handy. Sending you much joy and blessings moving ahead. You made it. Life is good. Thank you. Did you name her after the word teal? I didn't. I named her after a character in one of my favorite book series, The Chronicles of Elantra. One of my favorite characters is Tila, and that is where that name came from. I've been reading that series for God, those books have been out forever. She's new one every year. There's we're on to book 15 or so, but more than that now because there's 2 spin-off things. Anyway, yeah, she is named after a character in the book. If it was a male, I wanted to name him Severn after another character in the same book, but my husband hates that name. So anyway, I was naming her whatever I wanted. Anyway, okay. So there you go, Karen. This is beautiful. Those are the changes I would make, though. Just, by darkening that. And I would push it even further than what I did in the grass. Get more darks in the grass. I think I like that about the AI. I like how dark the dark areas are in the grass. You could push even a little bit more dark on the bird, too. So you've got a few things. And it doesn't take much. This is probably an hour, maybe 2 hours max, if that, of work. Because you've already got all the hard stuff done. You're just darkening a few things up. So great work. Okay, next we have Shanique. We have a kitty. That bird would be good. Tutorial, have you done one? I did. What did I do? Did I do it? I think I do have a hair in an oil painting. But that would be, that would be a fun one. Yeah, PC Cherokee said, you got to admit the name would still be on brand even if we didn't know about the book. Everyone thinks that's why I named her that. And it was funny, little side story before I pull this up. When the breeder, there were 6 puppies and they all had a different colored collar. hers was teal. And so I told the breeder, like, I'm wait, you know, you have to wait because the breeder, when you're going with a reputable breeder, they choose the right dog for you for, you know, depending on what, like in her case, I wanted to do a lot of training. So she's really smart. She's so like, she was picked perfectly for me, but I'm also not showing this time. I'm not getting into confirmation. So her ridge is messed up. So she's not a show potential. But she can compete in all of the other sport, you know, agility. I don't know how to do that, but like obedience. I may do some of the titles you can do online now. Like you send a video of that. I want to do scent work with her. Like I want to try a bunch of stuff. We've been having fun training. But anyway, point is the breeder chooses the right puppy for the right person. It's not like I want the one that looks like that. That's not how you choose when you go through a really good reputable breeder. So I messaged the breeder at one point. I'm like, I know we're not supposed to choose a dog based on color, but what if I chose based on color? Is that okay? Because I'm telling you, the teal is just my color. That is my brand. And she's a runt. She's like half the size of her littermates. Teeny tiny little thing. I mean, she's a Ridgeback, so they're big for an average dog, but she's a very small Ridgeback, very small. So, yeah, the breeder was laughing. But I'm like, how funny that the dog I ended up getting really was the one that had the teal collar, and her name is Tila. So it seems that way, but yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know for sure which one I was getting until like a week before I went to pick her up. Oh, this is great. I'm actually going to move this time the reference photo to the other side so my big face isn't in the way and we can see a little bit better. I'm going to shrink you down a little bit. Okay. Let's see, what did she say here? Hi, Lisa, this is one I am very stuck on. My goal is realism, but nothing looks right, and I especially dislike the background and his floating head. You are already, I just want to say, the fact that you know what you don't like, this is really important when you're painting and to progress and to learn, is being able to pinpoint what it is you don't like. You can't just look at it and go, I'm not happy with it. When you can actually think like, this is what I don't like. You just pointed out floating head. That would have been number one thing I would have commented on. And let's say nothing looks right, especially just like the background and the floating head. I tried to add foliage and make it abstract, but failed, wondering if I should restart. Seeing the reference side by side, I can see how unrealistic it looks. Thanks, Lisa. Anything helps. So you're doing a great job. I don't think you need to start over because I think you do have so much work on the face. Now, one of the things that makes it hard that I don't, when you know how I always say, whatever color is in the background, you want to pull that into the subject. The problem is green. I don't like pulling green into the subject. I will typically go with more of a bluish green, but not green when I'm pulling those colors in. So you do have a lot of green pulled into the subject. I wouldn't. It just, green is very difficult. So it makes the ears look that yellowy green. And you're doing what I always say to do, but green is kind of my exception there, where I just don't like how it reflects on animals. I just think it looks, I avoid it in most cases. Not for a background. I like it for a background. But like as far as the reflection color, on the subject, I'll pull in purples and blues instead of the green in that case. But purples and blues that go well with the green. So in this case, the green, let's say that green was mixed with phthalo green and hooker's green. I don't know. If there was a bit of blue in it, I would use the blue that you use there. That specific blue is what I would use to do the shading on the cat. So that is certainly something. The floating head is a massive issue. So how do we fix that? We can either pull in the paws like you see. Now, one thing, your drawing is a little off because the paw, like the little chin, is too pointy. It's down too long because I think you drew it where the part of the paw is. This part of the paw doesn't look right. This part should be big, and yeah, I would go ahead and go more with what you're seeing in your reference. You can do green. What if you did green, but for this and pulled in a blanket that he's laying on again? I mean, you can still pull in a blanket. I think that it makes it safe. Let's see. Let's play around a little bit with that. And if anyone's going, hurry up, I want you to get to mine, I'll probably get till next week because we still have some time. But do we know the meat? It looks like acrylics to me. It doesn't say, but I would almost guarantee this is acrylics because of the way that the brush strokes. I can tell when the brush strokes are more harsh like this, it's going to be acrylics. You don't typically see that with oils. You'll usually have a little bit more blending with oils. Stop. So that's something that we have to fight a lot with acrylics. And the easiest way to fight that is to glaze. And in this case, this cat needs a lot of glazing. So when the glazing of the orange colors were added on top, that's going to tone down those harsher brush strokes. So that right there is going to make a big difference. But I don't, and you know, it's not uncommon for me to say just start over. I think that too much is accurate on here. I don't think you need to start over, but we do need to make some adjustments. And I do like the idea of bringing in the blanket again. So let's just, actually this grayish tone is kind of neat. I don't know. Let's see what happens with that as our, so we've got up here, I'm going to pull it down a little bit further. And let's see, the face comes here. The blanket's right about there. And then you can continue the body here. We've got a foot that comes down. Let's see, that lines up outside that eye. So back out here. Let's get that paw in. These paws actually, that should be much bigger because it crosses each other. So now you can have your greens and we can have a blanket. And I don't know what color that blanket needs to be, but I mean, already we can see now where the body of the cat is. It might be cute to even have part of his tail sticking out. Like, I don't know, maybe it comes out here and curls around. That might be something that you can throw in. But I would go with that reference photo isn't bad. It's kind of weird because the way the blanket kind of looks like it's floating. What is going on here? Is that, oh, is that like a cat bed thing that sticks out on its own? I would make it not look like it's floating. But that would be my first thing, is to go ahead. There's the light we've got on these. But I would go ahead and do the blanket or the bed that he's sitting on more like you see. Now, you could get creative. You could do something that's like plaid or checkered. That would be actually kind of a cute way to go, to get really, you know, oops. Oh, because my mouse is not, where is my mouse? There's my mouse. To just get a little bit more extra on the positioning. But if you can see his body, if you can see all of that, you're getting rid of the floaty head. When you realize, okay, I'm going to draw all this in, his head doesn't look floaty anymore. And now I look at this and go, holy crap, that painting is looking amazing. This is why I don't think you need to restart it, because it is in a really, okay, cat tree, that makes sense. It is in a really, really good place. I think that you were trying to simplify it a little bit too much, and that's what threw it off. There's nothing wrong with using the green, and the green looks beautiful with the green in the eyes. God, the eye looks so good. The nose looks incredible. Like, so much of this is good, but this is actually right here. The bottom part of the jaw is just a little bit down too far, so, you know, that needs to be part of the paw. Now, what's going to happen, we need to start working on color. I want you to stop worrying so much about the green. Because you've got green in that background, that sagey green, but worry a little bit, or work more. Let's take a look at some of these colors. Oops. Okay. So like your ear, you've got the gray, where it really has more of that reddish brown tone to it. Look at all the tones we've got in there. And your shadows are right. The color I would change. I would remove the green that you've got in the ear floof. Any of the green that you've got in the fur, I would cover a lot of that. I wouldn't let much of that show, especially not this lime green. And like I said, there's a reason you're doing it, because you're pulling those background colors in, which makes sense, except for green. I don't know why. And it's not that green doesn't do that in real life. I just don't like what it looks like. So it may just be as simple as personal preference. I don't like how green reflects on animals. It just looks weird to me. I don't like it. Whenever I do a portrait and there is green showing, I drop the green. Throw in blues or purples, but I drop the green. So that is what I would personally do there. For the blanket, though, you could get creative with doing stripes. You could do plaid. You could do, I mean, depending on how much work you want to put into it. But, you know, something to make it obvious. Don't do a color that's super close to the cat. Make it obvious it's separate from the cat. And then when you get into glazing, all of these colors, like you've got your shadows in there. When you get into all of this, just make sure, like, look at here. We've got those reddish brown tones. Not so much with the gray. I would go more with the red tones. And then when you glaze, so you can see how harsh your brush strokes are here. That's fine, because when you go on top and you glaze the red tones. So what would I use? Probably raw sienna and red oxide would probably be my two colors. Or raw sienna, burnt sienna. Why do I get those wrong? My brain is just shut down. But you know, a color that the color straight out of the tube looks just like that color. When you glaze that over, now if you glaze that over the green, it's just going to be an ugly, muddy color. Oh, good, French fries back. Stay, stay. She doesn't have her leash on. But when you get over these colors, it's going to be a little bit more muddy, but you still want to glaze over all of that, and it's going to make your fur look softer. Your color is going to be rich and much more accurate. It's going to fix so much. But no, I would not start over. I would just continue. And you're going to have to repaint some stuff because, you know, you're going to cover the whiskers and stuff. You're going to be painting over things when you're putting in the blanket and you're putting in the paw. But I would go more with what that has. Otherwise, you're never going to be over. The floating head is just going to be stuck there. Yeah, oh yeah, nailed the expression of the cat. Absolutely. Get the shadow a little bit darker on this side of the face. Go really dark in here. Like make it very, if we go through here, whoops. If we look at, where are you? That's not what I want. Why are you doing, this is not what I want. Cancel. You know what? Now will you work? There we go. Okay, if we look at how dark that is versus this, just make sure you get that contrast with these reddish tones and then the lighter tones. Just get the shading in there well. Yeah, it's too good. I would not restart. That's for sure. Make sure too, right now, yours are very white here. Go like those are really a darker tan. So those would be my tips as you move forward. But you're off to a really good start. I see where your problems are, and you see where the problems are. That's the great thing. You're pointing out, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like this. That is exactly what you want to do with any of you when you're painting and you're going on. Pinpoint what you don't like so you know exactly what it is you're working on. Okay. Let me download these. Now, hopefully, since I got OBS working fine, we will start on time next week. I learned the tricks of what was making things not work tonight, and hopefully we will be all good. So if you have more work you want to submit for next week, feel free to do so. I should still have some spaces for next week. Let me get these. So we've got the reference photo. Let me shrink that down. Okay. This is from Jayashri. I apologize. I know I just butchered your name, and I am very sorry for that. That is what I do. I butcher names. Let's see. Place my, okay, this is an azalea flower along with my artwork for this week's critique. I have used water-soluble pastels, Neo Color 2 for my base layer, and then colored pencils on top, Polychromos and Derwent Light Fast colored pencils on Strathmore Bristol paper. My goal is realism for this artwork. Title is Breath of Renewal. Please feel free to call me Jay while critiquing. You knew I was going to butcher your name. I should have read that first. And my artwork is like, okay. You know it's bad when people already know. They're like, yeah, she's going to butcher it. She butchers them all. Okay. So your goal was realism. I really like this. I like a lot about what you did. The only thing I think I would change is make the whites whiter. But that may just be the photo. It might be the photograph taken. No, okay, there's a few things we can adjust. So let's pull up another view layer. Okay. Now I see what you went darker on the stems of your little floofs. but I see why, because they don't show up in the original. So I totally get why you would do that. And I think that was the wise choice. Now, a few things. We've got some random lines that are not really going the right direction here. There are lines, but those lines go a certain direction with the petals when it comes to flowers. So like this one's going in. We have more of a, we do have one that kind of comes out like, oh, here, let's. That may not be dark enough. We'll just go with what yours are. They want to come in this way more. Oh, that is not showing up enough. We're going to go just bump that darker to make it show up. But that is way too dark, but you can see what I mean. They go in and then continue. Hi, French fry. And then we've got that shadow here. This shadow here. Now, this is the wrong color completely. I'm only going to do it like this so that you can see what I'm talking about. We've got a shadow that comes this way. Softly. Like these little details, watching which direction those lines go. Now, those lines are completely too dark. Do not make yours that dark. I just made them that way so they would show up so you could see what I was talking about. But you've got this softness here. We have like not so much of the little lines. Those are a little bit more detailed than I go with. Tila, place. Place. Yes. Down. Yes. Okay. Okay, I shouldn't give her a reward though because she shouldn't have gotten up in the first place, but she did do what I told her to. That was a good girl. I'm actually quite impressed with her right now. She was climbing the bed with Wade, which he was going to get very upset about soon. Anyway, so that, again, completely wrong colors. I just did those so you could see what I was talking about. I'm going to go ahead and erase those because no. So just watch the lines when you're doing flowers, when you're going for that realism, which direction that they're going in makes a big difference. These ones, as you got really dark as you went out, I would hold the darker ones more on the inside and just kind of keep it pretty light as you get out there, but that's personal preference. All of these are that darker purple. I get why you would do that. Like if you're trying to make it more realistic, I probably wouldn't put as much. This doesn't need to be here. I probably wouldn't put as much with the dark specks because it's making it look furry instead of spotted. And also the shapes are all the same width, which is something that we have a tendency to really do in with colored pencils. And we do it with brushwork too. Well, it's really normal to be like, this is the width of my brush. So every line ends up being just the width of the brush. But if you really look at the reference photo, look at the difference in sizes we've got. I mean, there's some variation in there. The color, there's not a lot of variation. There's like two colors, a light magenta, dark magenta. But then the shapes are a little bit different. You've got some variation with the really light ones that disappear in the background. These ones are a little bit too, I didn't shave my legs for the winter, if that makes sense. Like they look that prickly or a man's beard where everything, the hairs are kind of spread out evenly. So I would go back over that and just kind of do more circle, like thicken some of those up so they don't all look like little hairs. The direction, they're going a little bit more, again, kind of like hairs. If you look at the photo, they curve out more. They come out this way, and then here they come out that way. So you get some variation there. This flower, you've got a harsher, or not flower, the leaf. I know what things are. We've got a light area in here, and then the darker areas on the outer edges. I'm going to go a little bit darker just so they show up. Look at the shape there. So like just copy the way the details are on the work. Now, one of the things that you want to watch, and I think this is what's happening all over. Don't eat my necklace. A lot of these are just lines, and they shouldn't be. They should be shadows. So you have your definite line, but then it just, let's tone the opacity down. It fades out a little bit. It's not just a thin line. Like you have the line, but then it fades out a bit. So and actually that's another thing to watch. Like this one is curved down, but it really curves this way. So watch those abstract shapes. I would try to be a little bit more, okay, let's be realistic. No one's going to notice the difference that you're curving the wrong way, but the leaf would be this way, not that way. So being that it's supposed to look like a leaf sitting on top of that, it makes sense that it would curve the opposite direction. Is anyone else going to notice? Absolutely not. Is it absolutely beautiful how it is? Absolutely. But let's see if I can say absolutely again. You also said you were going for realism. So these are the little things that we want to watch for. It is absolutely beautiful. I said absolutely again. It's really, really beautiful, exactly how it is. But these are little things that you can adjust to improve on it even more. We've got there's just a lot of lines. Like here's a definite line. You've got definite lines all over the place that shouldn't necessarily be lines. This one has a line to here, but then it disappears as it moves, as it fades out. So watch, like here, we've got a lot of really definite lines that should be more shadows than lines. So those would be my tips, is working on figure out where it's a harsher line versus where something should fade out into what's the surrounding area, so that you do get that variation and it doesn't just look like pencil lines around things, which again, working in colored pencil, you've got to fight the having it look like it was colored pencil, if that makes sense. Same thing as these little dots, the little, I didn't shave for the winter lines. If we can get those little rounded shapes, and you don't have to, well, you could erase some of it if you wanted to, but really just watching the shape of those so they look less furry and more spotted. But really good job. Really pretty. And I think that the white probably is that, it probably is white. That was, I think it's just the photo is not, like the exposure isn't quite high enough for that. Okay. Next we have Deborah. Wait. Okay, here we go. I was like, wait, that one's mine. I know, because it still has my watermark on it. And then we have the reference photo. And then we have the artwork is in a separate one. There we go. Okay, let's pull these up and then we'll read what she says. Let's shrink that way down. Did I sell that guy? I don't think I have him anymore. I like that painting. Okay. Oops. That's not what I meant to push. Let's get these guys all nice and little. Click. Oh my God. And then we have Deborah's work. Oh, that came out really good. Oh, good work. I love how your background came out. That was a special kind of technique where we were doing the water crack, like using too much water intentionally and then drying it really fast to force the acrylic paint to crackle. That's how we get that background. So really, really pretty. I like it. Okay, let's see what she says. I followed your tutorial of the fox and acrylics with a crackled background. I was almost finished and got stuck trying to finish around the forehead. It needs to be lightened, but I wasn't sure how to make it look right. Also, the whisker spots I painted look fake, like plastic. I just need a little help with finishing it up. Anything you can critique on this painting would be much appreciated. Much appreciated. I can't talk, including the crackled part of the painting. I like how you did the crackled part. The crackled part, so when you do something like this, you can't plan on having too much control. You just let it do what it's going to do, and you go with it. Yours looks gorgeous. I absolutely love it. Does it look exactly like mine? No, mine was like I used more paint, a lot more paint, so it was like more saturated, but I love how yours came out. So anything like this, it's kind of like when you do the acrylic pours, like you just kind of let it flow and you go with what it does. So I think you did a great job there. Oh, hold on here. Here's the problem. He's trying to French fry. I don't know if you can see him. He's back here, but he can't stick when I don't have a shirt, like a flannel on. He wants to get in the, he likes to be in the collar. You in there? Okay. You good? Okay. We're good. Don't bite my ear. Okay, so let's talk about the fur being lighter. I don't think it needs to be. So see how your fur kind of ends in the background? It's okay. I'm not bothered by that at all. I mean, you can. Now, it's not drawn exactly the same. He's got a little bit more of a break here. We've got some differences. You know what? Let's just change the stuff that I would change if it were mine. Let's do that. Where would I go with this? Let's pull those up. I want you to be a bit bigger. maybe not that much bigger. And let's give you another layer. And let's play around a little bit with that. Let's enlarge mine a bit. So the eye, one of the things I think the eye really needs is this additional black. Okay. We've got this black that comes up. So right now it's just lined with black. And really we want to get a little bit more. Maybe not that. Oh, geez. That is too opaque. Let's get some of these darks a little bit darker. But I mean, look at the difference in the eye, just that little bit, how much that changes. So that, we can get the darks in here a little bit more. I'm probably a little bit too dark. And then, oh, I see what you mean by the eye. Okay, so the reason that your dots here look fake is because it's an even row. It shouldn't be an even row. It should be actual little dots. Look at the little dots we've got on there. And they don't have to be exact. Mine are not exact to the photo, but you do want actual dots. We want to break some of that up. I will do, what am I doing? Oh, you are in the way. So we're just going to break some of this up. And then put those in there. And then once you put the whiskers, that's going to make a big difference. Now here, oops. So you see how even this is? This we're going to pull down a bit more. We need a lot, you know, decent amount more in there. Do a better job than me. I'm rushing this. We want to thicken that and break up that line up top here. Oh, I've covered my mic. There. And then when you come through with your whiskers, this is going to make a huge difference. Oh, I need to be more opaque. And fixing how those little spots look. But we also want it even darker here, right at that area is darker. And then we're going to go a little bit lighter in through here. For the light area of the head, oops. So you can just kind of fluff that up just a bit to separate. But I'm going to take that same whatever color, do that on the bridge of the nose there. Tila, shut up. I'm going to pull a little bit more highlighting in a few of these areas. I'm also going to pull some of the, actually, let's do that now. Tila, enough. Oh, no, we're not going to listen to you talk, miss. I'm going to take one of the colors, like a grayish tone. No, I'd rather it be a lighter blue. One of the colors that you've got in your background, I'm going to pull that. Whoa, not that much. Calm down. I'm going to pull some of that like I did on mine. Maybe a little bit more blue than that. Let's go a little bit more aqua so it matches what you've got in yours. I'm going to hit the ends of some of these just to make sure everything, he feels like he's a part of that. You're pulling those same colors from your background. So your background doesn't need to be the same as mine. You just want to make sure you're pulling some of those same colors into your fox. There we go. So you can see just those little bits of difference in making some of the lights lighter. We've got some of the darks. Just readjusting some of this will make a big difference. You're almost done. I mean, that looks, you're doing such a good job. Just those few little changes should really, really help. Again, we've got, you can see around the eye, the fluff around the forehead. I just kind of flatten that out a little bit, but brighten that up. It's not straight white. It's a bluish, like one of the bluish white colors that you've got in your background. You want to pull that in. And then I'm not saying my whiskers are exactly right, but I just wanted to put some in there so you could kind of see what I was talking about, where those spots, they're spots. They're not, it's not a row. It's a row of spots, not a solid row. So that is the adjustment you would make there. Really nice work. How much time do we have? 9:52. Let's see if I can do one more. I need to go put my feet in water. The stupid celiac disease issue thing has got my feet over the top. The blisters are gross. But they're really itchy, and I might snap. Okay, Pamela, you're going to be the last for tonight, and that leaves us with 7 more still, I think, for next week. So I've got room for a couple more if anyone in the meantime wants to submit a few. I haven't done this in a few months, though, so I don't mind doing a few weeks in a row of these. We got to get everyone caught up. Okay. And, oh, let's turn you over. You're not doing what I want. You're doing what I want. Took me a minute. Counterclockwise, clockwise. My brain kind of shut down. Okay. So this is from Pamela. She says, attached is my first attempt at all all pastels, pan and pencil, on sanded paper. I struggled with blending and not losing details. Also, what is best for using blending that won't get ripped up by the rough surface? Last question, how do I attribute to somebody when I use something with permission? For example, I'm using a butterfly light bulb I can't talk. I'm tired. Yeah, this is definitely the last one for tonight. I'm using your butterfly light bulb concept to create my own piece, and how and where do I give you credit for the concept? So for me, you don't have to, but I so appreciate when you do. It's just let people know that this was inspired by Lisa's stuff, and you can tag me in it because I want to see it anyway. Like if you post that on social media, just when you make your description, I just would appreciate it if it was like, inspired by this. Do you have to do that? No, it's not required. I appreciate it, but you also don't have to. But just for me, I like to see it in like the description, just if somebody's reading through and it's like, mainly I just want my name in front of people more, where they're like, oh, I want to take a class. I want to take a lesson, so it just helps promote me more. So that's the only, the reason. But anyway, you said, again, you struggled with blending and not losing details. Also, what is best for using blending that won't get ripped up by? So blending, got it. I haven't done all pastels in a very long time. I used to use my fingers for most things, honestly. For the actual blending tools, I would see what Jason Morgan, he's kind of my go-to, who I send everyone to for like just pastels, and see what he blends with. I think you did an absolutely wonderful job. My only critique would be getting your colors more saturated. So like your oranges, like brighter. I'm not sure if they're too blended. Let's see, you said on sanded paper. So on sanded paper, when I blend, I either use my finger lightly, don't do what Nick's done where he like burned a hole in his finger, but I lightly do that. You can use, I don't like paintbrushes because I find that they just wipe the product off the paper too much. So that doesn't work. I've seen people use them and like the results they get, but you have to be careful because it's just going to keep wiping away the color. So I always just put it on really, really heavy. And again, I don't use just straight pastel pencils at all anymore because I'm weirded out by the feel, not because they look amazing. So I don't want you to think like, oh, you don't like how pastels look. No, I love how pastels look. I'm just a freak and I can't stand the gritty, dry, chalky feel. Weirds me out. But the pastels need to be on there thicker. You need to put more on there so that your color saturation is very, very muted. It looks like you almost overblended everything. I am not sure what Jason Morgan is blending his stuff with. He has a ton of videos, so he's going to tell you for free. Like, you can sign up for his classes or you can do it for free. He'll tell you the tools he's using for that. But I always used my fingers. Yes, the downside is we're getting people oils and we want to keep our... I just made sure they were clean. I did not have lotion on. This is before I was super neurotic about that sort of thing. But it needs more pastel. It needs more color, like the darker oranges and darker reds. Your placement, everything's great. Your drawing is great. It's just that the color saturation, what? I'm tired. Color saturation isn't quite there. So depending on how you work. Now, for me, I like to put a workable fixative down, like Spectrafix, and then keep layering. And so that helps to kind of seal down. Seal's not the right word. It gives it a little tap, a little bit more grip. It grips down the previous layer so they don't wipe off as easily as you're blending. But a lot of the blending tools that we use are going to wipe things off. Now, there are like soft tools. That is my favorite way. If I'm not using my fingers, soft tools. You can get like the little pokey one, the triangle one. That is great for little details where you can just use the tip of it to blend things out. But the pencils also, they blend well with just the pencils and not having to blend with your finger. You don't always have to use a blending tool. The pencils themselves they work to blend. But the biggest thing I'm seeing here is you just don't have enough pigment on the paper, enough pencil. Like, really layer that on a bit thicker. Like, where you've got it light right now is perfect, but now you need to go back through and start darkening it up. I wouldn't say darken it up in the earlier stages. Start a little bit lighter so that you don't get too much product on the paper where it won't take more. But I don't think that's the problem here. Here, I feel like there's just not quite enough. So you've got to be a little messier, got to push a little bit harder with those pencils, or get some more layers on there so that the color comes out really saturated. Because pastels can get the same saturation as every other medium. So layer that on there, and if you need to, you can do the workable fixative. Not everybody likes to use those. I don't think Jason Morgan uses any on his because they can leave splatters. They blend out. I don't care. I'd rather have the fixative. But everyone is going to have their favorite way. But yeah, you need more pigment on the paper. It is beautiful. It just feels like you've got your base layers down, like the start, and not the final layers. Layer more on there and let the pencils blend. The pencils themselves blend into each other. Like, that's how heavy you're going to put this on there, where the pencils themselves are doing the blending themselves. Not necessarily by pushing hard, but you're going to let that sanded paper grip. The sanded paper is going to grab onto the pigment. Let it grab. So I think you're using a super light hand and you're being really, really careful. You've got to now start to balance how much more pressure you can add. And now they're going to break easy, so you're not putting a lot of pressure. But how many more layers where you keep, work that pencil lightly over that multiple times until that saturation comes out super bold, super vivid. But let the pencil work for you, because it is crazy how well that will work without your finger to blend. And then I always just use my pinky and just kind of very, very lightly, even if I use, when I blend with colored pencils and use powder blender, I like to blend with my pinky on that. I just think I get the best results that way. Just very, very lightly. I am barely touching the paper just to soften it if needed. But the pencils, kind of the same thing. The pencils themselves, when working on sanded paper, the sanded paper helps you to get so much pigment so fast that you don't need a lot of blending. I think we get stuck in our head that we need to overly blend everything, and we don't. The pencils themselves, what comes out with the pencils when we're painting, what comes out with that brush stroke, it's okay for that brush stroke to show. Like, let it show, let that pigment get on the paper. So that's really my only thing, because it's drawn perfectly fine. Everything's fine. You just need to, and even if you didn't, let's say you were like, nah, I like it how it is. It's still pretty how it is. But if you wanted it to look more like the reference photo, it's the color saturation. We need more pigment on the paper. So that is, and we're at 10:01. Oh, are you eating your bed or did you stop? I can't tell. That better not be in your mouth. Puppyhood. So anyway, that is my tip for that. And then next week we are starting off with Marie. Actually, I need to mark that as not red, because it's going to look like, I'm going to look at that. I shouldn't have scrolled over. Let's mark that as unread. mark, but I'm going to do that right now because there we go. That way I know where to start. So that is who is first. So next week we've got Marie, we've got Lily, Melinda, Marge, Charisse, and Charisse. So that is next Wednesday. We will be doing the second one. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. Yeah, I think that is good. And we will do and again, if you're watching and you're like, oh, I have this other one, I can fit a few more to next week. So I should be able to. So feel free, if you are a member, to go ahead and submit that. And thank you for your patience and me taking forever getting everything figured out. God, I'm telling you, I was so prepared today. I was so prepared. Everything was done early. I made sure the dogs were set up, everything. I had everything ready. I had treats in here. I had everything. And then like the very basic connecting to YouTube. It was like, no, the OBS, I think, is the newer version. It really wanted me to connect my account to it, which I don't like to do, but that is what I had to do to get it to work. It was not, the old legacy version was not doing it. So I didn't have time to download and do the research on that. So anyway, point is I was late. Thank you. I will see you next week. I'm working on right now, I think the next one. So I just got the longer bison video is up. If you are not sure what that is, or if you're not a member, let me show you guys. This one, this lesson is available now. That is a very long video. So that one's up. I'm working on, I've got 3 detailed colored, like bigger project colored pencil ones that are also going to be coming on top of our normal Wednesday live streams. I am very behind on postcards that I'm working on. Those are going to be, I'm going to start sending those out in groups, and I want the postcards to be going out in envelopes. So, yeah, they get damaged. I'm going to try to get envelopes, which cost more, but if I can do like 3 or 4 months at a time in one envelope, I think I could do 3, get away with 3. That saves on stamps a little bit, not a lot, because I now have to pay for a first class versus a postcard stamp, but I'm only doing 1 versus 3, but it also will keep the postcards from getting so damaged. And it's going to take me, it's work. I've been waiting for Vista Print. Let me check again. They used to have sales all the time, and that's the only way I could afford to get them. And so that is what my current problem is. Their sales have been horrible lately. Like I can't afford to do it at the price I've been doing. So I have to either find somebody new, or let's see, pick my offer. What is your offer? And I haven't found a good alternative. 20% off that. Yeah, or free shipping. They used to be 40% off their normal prices, and they're not doing that anymore. And that's one of the reasons I've got to raise Patreon. If you're already on Patreon, your prices are not getting raised. But like for new members, they're going to have to raise soon, because the cost of having everything's gone up so bad. Well, we all know that, but yeah, it sucks. Anyway, that is all. Let me get my windows are all up. There we go. I don't even have the outro and intro video on this one anymore. I don't even know where I don't know where it is. I'm gonna have to go steal it off my old computer, or not my old computer, my normal live stream one. That is all. I think I'm done. Yeah, I think that you want to say good. I don't know if you guys can see French Fry here. There he is. There's French Fry. This is why he likes this type of shirt. He likes to sit in the collar like that. That is how he spends his time. That's it. Yeah, we're done. Bye. Oh, wait. I don't even know where the thing is. I think I can do it from here. Bye.